Well, I knew you'd want to have a look at her in the daylight. It's a big machine. I couldn't afford the little ones. Well, I can't read that data plate. It's a jib boob machine. So there's the jib boom and all of its extensions. So that it's, I guess you can put the boom out and run a winch cable off of that hydraulic winch right there. It's pretty darn straight. It's got a whale of an exhaust leak, which is why it sounds so rough. It is a double piston boom and will reach 55 feet. Both sticks have got dual pistons on them. I'm out here tonight to check the antifreeze because oh boy, I'd sure hate to lose the motor. Sure hate to lose the motor in this -7 or whatnot we're getting. This is the only body damage to the entire rig. He said what happened is they were craning down a log, and when they dropped it on the ground, it flipped up a different one and clobbered the truck right here. I was sure it was going to whistle and blow on me the whole way home, but it didn't. Pretty clean, standard Chevrolet cab. It is full of chainsaw stuff. The boxes have got chainsaw stuff in them. I haven't actually looked underneath the seats. There's a whole bunch of stuff under the seats too. No idea why they turned it loose without actually cleaning it out. Got a set of tire chains for it. It is definitely a massive machine, and my hope is that I don't hurt myself putting on the siding. She did not make a good first impression, which is partially why I got it for as cheap as I did. That and the fact that it's a gasser. It wouldn't start. It's got it needs a starter. You can see that it's held together with electrical tape down there, but it had a loose terminal on the solenoid. Guy had no idea. So loose terminal on the solenoid, and I was able to get underneath there and fix it well enough to get it running. But it's that boom. Both buckets pivot independent of each other, so they can swing out directly behind. They can swing back and forth. I hadn't thought about it, but he actually told me that having that double bucket is really, really nice, because it means you always have help up there, someone to hold, someone to screw. Where it was parked, we couldn't extend the boom the entire way, but I wasn't that concerned about it. It is a hydraulic system. You know, the PTO was whining real bad. Of course, it was 17 degrees. And it has dual controls up in the bucket and then down at the bottom. and we just ran it from the bottom controls. And he said he hasn't run the bottom controls in 5 or 6 years, but the boom responded immediately. No hesitation, no bounce, just immediately lifted right off its cradle, and we're able to pivot it way up and bring it way back down. I didn't see any slop in the pivots. There's no way of knowing. I mean, the truck says, what, 54,000, and I'm pretty sure 58,000. I'm pretty sure that's legit. And we got an hour meter. It says 5,000, more or less. This thing still got air pressure. Okay. Well, I was proud of it for having 45 psi oil pressure, or 50 psi oil pressure on the way home. But the needle appears to be stuck. So, you don't know what it had on the way home. Then we got another. Oh, that was for an Onan generator, which I think used to sit in that fiberglass box over there. There's not a generator in there, but it's not empty either. Oh, it's pretty empty. This is the bottom controls. When this is pushed all the way forward, it runs off the bucket. When it's pulled back, you can run it from down here. I didn't see any signs of real abuse. I know it's been painted, and that can hide some shenanigans, fresh coat of paint, but boy, things looked okay. We're missing a zert right there. Yeah, I just don't see how I could do wrong. For $9,000, I just don't see how I could do wrong. And renting the machine to do that properly would, I figure at a minimum, if I did 10 days continuous, that'd be in the summer sometime, you know, we'd be looking at about 4,000, and it wouldn't reach the back. This thing, that back corner right there, it might not reach that, but at 54 feet, extended all the way out from the rear of the truck, you know, the house is 40, 45 wide. So if I go back on that side and reach across and then come up over here and get that last little bit, I should be able to reach damn near everything. He mentioned how useful they are and how pretty soon you find yourself making some quick cash here and there, everything, as he put it, from stuck cats to Christmas lights. But yeah, I'm gonna have to talk with my insurance company. It's one thing to, you know, get our license for the road, but I don't know. I had to do some sweet talking to get the army trucks covered when I wasn't running the company. I bet though if I just portray it as a C70 and I tell them the truth. I just wanted the army trucks insured so I could drive it around, gas it up, or go work on it or whatnot. That it wasn't being used for anything. They'd probably do that. They don't care if something happens when it's parked. They only care if something happens on the road. She drove like a dream. Brakes were a little sketch a couple of times. It's hard to tell whether that was the icy roads or whatnot. But then I felt that way about the big army trucks too. You just got to drive it like a truck, not like a car. He did warn me it was top heavy, but I didn't feel it mushing around at all. I don't know. Something tells me I could do my house, pressure wash it, go through, straighten or remove that part, patch that hole with a little bit of tin, paint it white, fix things like the dim dash lights and the starter motor, and I bet I can flip it for more than I paid for it, provided I go and try to sell it in the spring instead of the dead of winter. As long as that motor doesn't freeze and break tonight, I don't see any way I can lose. It's a lot of machine for $9,000. It's amazing how fast people started to come to me. Gotta do my stuff first, people. Gotta do my stuff first.